Exciting news! Our next badge is available to book now. From April the 1st to the 11th, dive into our Management Reports badge and master everything you need to know about understanding management reports. We look at the foundations of your reports by looking at the nominal records, how to set these up, and how they form the basis of your reporting, before delving into the chart of accounts and configuring that to your needs.
Moving on to the trial balance, balance sheet and profit and loss reports. How to run these for your current financial year and how to run these into the future and for prior years. We'll also show you how to reconcile your aged debtors and creditor reports and how to account for any differences before showing you your business dashboards, the perfect feature for monitoring your key business data at a glance.
Attend 5 out of the 6 sessions and complete our quiz to earn your badge. Your achievement will be added to the Accreditable portal where you can share your badge with clients, colleagues and suppliers, showcasing your journey to becoming a Sage expert. Don't delay, get yourself registered now at sage.co.uk/webinars and take the next step in your professional development.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar, which is VAT Return Step 3. So this is part 2 of the VAT series that we run. Yesterday we covered Step 1 and 2, which was to prepare and reconcile. And now we're going to be looking at submitting effortlessly and without any kind of issues whatsoever. My name is Matt. I'm going to be guiding you through the process today. If you attended yesterday's, brilliant, welcome back. If this is just a top-up session for you because you've already seen Step 1 and 2, then welcome back as well also. So what are we going to be looking at today specifically? Well, first off, we're going to be looking at the VAT transfer journals. What are they? Why are they important? We're going to be going over that and the different ways that you can input them. We're going to be looking at the bank receipt or the payment during the submission process as well. And then finally, we've got a short video on the VAT submission. During the demonstration today, we can't do a live submission to HMRC. I hope you can appreciate that. And they might be quite confused as to why I'm sending them one. So instead, we have a pre-recorded version of it for you to follow along with. Also, we're going to be open for questions throughout. On the subject of questions, we'll move on to the housekeeping. So if you've been here before, you'll know the rules. If you haven't, then these are the rules essentially. Your microphone is automatically muted. So if you need a cough or sneeze, anything like that at all, do not worry. I'm not going to hear you. You'll not interrupt anything. Feel free to sing along to the radio, completely up to you. What we can do though, is we can instruct you if you have any questions to click on that speech bubble with a question mark. If you click on there and send us a question, I will answer it as best I can during the space of this webinar today. If I can't get you an answer, because it maybe is a bit more technical, a bit more specific, or maybe even a knowledge gap, then I'll get back to you after the webinar is finished via email as well. So it's just going to be me running today's session. We don't have anybody in the background. So again, thank you for your patience on that one. I will try and get as many questions answered as I possibly can. And if I can, I'll do a demonstration at the same time. I have uploaded a copy of today's slides. They're available there. If you want to click on those and download them now, there is a black and white version, which is printer friendly, and also a color version, which you can just keep on your laptop or computer. Links in there for help guides and different articles are very precious. So I would get that done now, just in case it slips your mind later on during the presentation, during the webinar. I will be sharing hints and tips as we go through the webinar as well. But again, just to have it for your own reference at a later date is going to be more beneficial for you as well, I think, rather than trying to remember what I was talking to you about at 2 o'clock on the 5th of March, if you're with me. So without further ado, let's move straight into it. VAT transfer journals. So why do you need to post VAT transfer journals? Now, these are used to transfer the values from the sales and the purchase tax control accounts into the VAT liability account or nominal codes. So that's why we need them essentially, to make sure that all the values are in the correct place. We're basically moving 2 nominal code balances into one, the VAT liability. Now, this is because payments can't be made directly to the nominal codes. So that's why we journal them or transfer them across, because you can't make direct payments into them. That's to make sure that there's no double additions or subtractions And so figures don't get confused, essentially, because they are open to human intervention at the same time. So by making them transferable and journalable, makes it a lot simpler. Keeps your figures nice and trim as well. So if we can't transfer them across any balances, we could end up with potentially large balances. It's not a major problem, that, okay? Essentially what you're doing is you're accumulating your VAT in both nominal codes and you're just leaving it there. So it's not detrimental, but it's kind of like leaving a room untidy, if you know what I mean. You're having 6 loads of washing instead of just one to do. So you've got a mix of different VAT periods within your sales tax control and purchase tax control accounts. So by doing the transfer at the end of the reconciliation, you're keeping your figures more trim and you're keeping things easier for investigation if needs be. Essentially easier to have a look at. If you don't transfer them, it's not going to affect your balance sheet or anything because the figures don't change. It just means you're not moving them from one place to another. So don't panic if you haven't been doing it. You can backdate it. Say you haven't done it for the last 3 VAT periods, you could go back and do them simultaneously. So do VAT period 1, then 2, then 3, and then hey ho, you're back up to date again. And that gives you a better reflection if you're just going to quickly check on these accounts of what you're going to be sending to or is owed to HMRC or to ROS. Now, your VAT liability in an ideal world would always be 0, always, because you've counterbalanced it, you've journaled it, journal debit, journal credit, but sometimes it may not be 0. You could have things that affect that like VAT liability. So if you do have figures in there and you're wondering what they are, investigate it, have a look. For example, I can't go through all the examples because we'd be here for an hour and a half, but for example, CIS could be affecting your VAT liability. It could be populating a figure in there that you're not expecting, just for an example. So let's have a look and see what that would look like. What I'm going to do is show you the example that you've got on the screen in front of you now in real life data in front of you. So if I go to File, I'm going to open my examples in front of you for transparency. Open company data. And here I have incomplete VAT transfer company that I set up for you. It's like Blue Peter. Here's one I've made earlier. Once this has loaded, I'm going to go straight to the nominal code section. Straight down to the sales tax control account. Oh, straight past it, Matthew. And here you can see I have balances there. It's not going to affect the balance sheet, but that's what it looks like. Now, if I do the transfer and I've completed that, this is what it's going to look like. Again, just like Blue Peter, prepared these earlier. Wait for that to load. Again, straight to nominal codes. And as we scroll down and down and down, you can see zeros. You may note, the eagle-eyed, that there is a figure here. Almost all the time there will be a figure here. If there's not, it means you haven't processed after you've done the transfer, because we'd always expect to see something in sales and purchase. As soon as you run your VAT and you transfer the balances over and you go to processing again, guess where those figures are going to show up? They're going to show up in here. So never be worried that this has got a credit or the other one, or the purchase has got a debit. That's perfectly normal. It just shows you that you are processing. So yeah, perfectly normal, that one. But yeah, it's this one here is the main focus. These are the 3 that you'll be looking at. These are the defaults, these numbers here. If you've had somebody adjust yours, they may not be under these particular defaults themselves, but off the shelf, when you buy Sage and open it, these are the numbers that are attributed to those nominal codes. So that's essentially what it looks like between the 2. Now, what we did yesterday is we ran through processes stage 1 and 2. As earlier mentioned, let me open it here. Again, Blue Peter time, letting you see behind the curtain a wee bit as well as to how we build things. So if I password into here, my VAT open. Superb. So this is what we did yesterday. This VAT return here. You notice it says pending because we haven't done anything with it yet. We did all the calculations. And yesterday I confirmed this is one of the biggest calls that we do get. Because when people go to do, I'm just going to do it again, go to do a fresh VAT return. If they've got one highlighted and they click on VAT return, it's going to open the one that they've got highlighted. If you wanted to do a brand new one, swap clear VAT return, and it opens up a nice fresh VAT return for you to do. But we've already done the other two steps, so we're not going to bother with that one now. So if I open up the VAT return that I did yesterday, straight away, we went through this yesterday, but again, just a brief overview for those of you that might not have attended. We've got the drill down options, so we can then drill down to these boxes and investigate numbers. So my T1 tax code, let's have a look and see what has been going on in there for that VAT. These have already been reconciled, but again, it's just for further investigation if needs be. That option, the totals here. In Ireland, for ROF, you're going to have 2 more boxes. You're going to have 11 boxes in total. So it will look slightly different. You can print the results. You can check the verification results, which we set yesterday. Remember, this was a invoice that wasn't posted to ledgers. We investigated it and it was fine. Same with the purchase order. Fine to continue again. Not to go too much over the old ground. We also did an adjustment of £100, so we can view any adjustments that we've made here. And we can see the reason why by double clicking into the adjustment box, and we can see HMRC instruction, £100. So those are the things that we covered in majority yesterday. The thing that we didn't cover was the right-hand side here. And this is the final step. And what I'm going to do in this webinar is I'm going to show you the manual way to do these sections, but then I'm going to show you a different way of doing them. So there's method into why the webinar is set up to how it's set up. First off, let's look at the journal part of things. So remember, we're going to be posting VAT transfer journals for the reasons explained previously. How can we do that? This is what they move, essentially. Not to read it out to you verbatim, but your total VAT on sales from your sales tax and your total VAT on purchases. And the Republic of Ireland on the right-hand side, it explains where the boxes are as well. This is going to be on the handout for you. So these are the figures that are moved. To manually move it, it's quite a simple process if you use nominal codes quite a lot. But essentially what you would do is you would manually transfer, as this shows here. So your VAT on sales, you would debit, VAT on purchases, you would credit, and you would send them both over to your VAT liability section. So to show you what that would look like manually, we've just done our return there. What I would then do is I would click on nominal codes, journal entry, and this is where I would essentially do it. I could call this HMRC. It's fair if I wanted to. Again, it's up to you. I put the N in there, apologies. Again, it's up to you how you want to do that. Nominal code selection, remember it's in the 2000s. You would select the correct nominal codes, where you're going to send it to. Again, would be the VAT liability. You can search or you can drag down. And you would do the balances with the figures that you'd gained manually in this section here. And that would create the journals and that would transfer the balances over. Okay. You've added a step there though, haven't you? The pro of doing this, if there was a pros and cons list, is that you're doing it manually. So you've got more control. You can double check things a bit quicker, potentially. That would be the strongest pro I can think of. The con of this side of doing this is it's open for human error because you're manually inputting things. Not only that, time consuming. You've come out of the VAT window here and you've got into your nominal codes. selected everything that you need to select, posted what you needed to post, and you're straight back to VAT again to finish the rest of the return. It's a lengthy process. So our feedback over the years, what we now do is we make sure it all happens in one place. Michael came up with a great analogy the other day when I was talking to him about this. Sage is going to do this automatically for you. For example, why would you stand up off the sofa to change the channel on the telly when you have a remote in your hand? And that's what Sage is in the analogy here. It's the remote control. Sage will post the journals for you by simply clicking this button, Post Journal. Now remember, yesterday, before we reconciled, before we did the VAT calculation even, we took a backup. So again, if you're posting journals or anything like that at all, or posting a bank payment, which I'll show you, and you find it's incorrect, it's easier to restore the backup than it is to try and unpick what you've done. Okay, so by clicking on Post Journal, there we go, done. So everything we just did manually there by exiting this screen and then going into nominal codes, manually transferring balances over, then coming back to this screen, it's just been done with one click. As simple as that, automatic posting. So again, in the handout, we've got a little description of it here, just for your reference. So when you're doing this yourself, you can see just how time-saving the wizard now is. So it will post both transfers for you. It won't bring your VAT liability down to zero. It will only do it for that return. So it's only going to be the balances in that return that it will transfer across. It won't do the rest. If you have built up an accumulative balance over a few VAT periods, you will manually have to go in and transfer those yourself. This is only going to transfer what's on each individual return, essentially, not to labour on that point too much for you all. But yeah, again, human error has been taken out of it there. Sage is doing it all for you. Perfect. The next section, I'm sure you saw, was the bank payment and receipt. Now, I'm going over this from top to bottom. I do appreciate that. So first off, I'm looking at the journals and I'm jumping straight down to bank payment and receipt, but that's just for the sake of the demonstration. In reality, you'd probably submit next, but we'll cover the bank payment and receipt option. So it's the reason it is bank payment or receipt is because more often than not, you're paying the VAT, HMRC, but you may be receiving some back. So which one do you choose? I'm not going to tell you because I'm sure you all know. But essentially, it all needs to be recorded in the software. How would we do that? Again, you've got the two options. You've got the manual posting. I'm not going to demo a bank receipt or payment because I'm sure you all know how to do that, to be honest with you. So that would be rather tedious for you all to sit and watch. But essentially, you would just do a bank payment, as is in the picture in front of you there. Select your bank, select the date, select the nominal code, put the details in for your reference in your audit, and then obviously the figures afterwards as well. Superb. That's it, done. Or, that's the manual way, again, human error, time consuming. You just press this button. You can also mark to pay via e-banking. If you do this manually, okay, you can just mark it as paid. Job's good. So again, if you do like that kind of control aspect and doing everything with your own hands just to making sure it's getting done correctly for whatever reason, then you would just put mark as paid in there. And Sage is going to say, okay, you've done that elsewhere. If you don't want to, post a bank payment, select the date. I'm just going to select today's date. And you would post a bank payment. A question that we often get is if it's a bank receipt, if we're actually receiving money, will it post the correct version? Because that says bank payment. It will. It will. Sage will post the correct version of the transaction for whatever your VAT return requires. So if it's a payment, it's a payment. If it's a receipt, it's a receipt as well. So again, we could do it manually, or we could just click one button. Done. Easy as that. And if you've got any attachments that you want to add, any receipts or letters, emails, we went through this yesterday. Again, you can add your attachments here. These do not get sent to HMRC. These are for your records only, so don't worry. You're not going to be sending them duplicate copies, but it just means that if you need them for reference in the future, they're going to be available for you. Now, the final part is to submit it to ROS or HMRC. We're using the UK version of the software today, so it's HMRC. Again, because we can't submit this to HMRC live today in a demonstration, I'm going to play you a quick video on how to do it. It's going to be voiced by Michael, nice familiar voice for you all. I'm going to play that now and I'll be back with you in just a moment, as quick as I can for you.
In this demonstration, we're going to show you the steps to submit your VAT return online. We join the demonstration where we're on step 3 of the VAT return, so it's already been reconciled, and we're ready to submit it online. So on the right hand side, we click Submit Online. The online submission wizard appears, and you click Next. Ensure that the correct company name and VAT registration number appears, and then click Next. An authority page appears, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you can then click Continue. You're then prompted to sign in with your Government Gateway user ID and password. Once entered, click Sign In. You then click Grant Authority. You'll then be prompted to choose your period, and it should default to the correct one. Just make sure this is correct, and then select the checkbox to say that you agree to the following HMRC declaration, and then click Submit to HMRC. Once completed, a congratulations message appears, indicating you successfully submitted your VAT return to HMRC. You click Close. You then return to the VAT return, and as you can see, the VAT return is now flagged as being submitted.
There we go. Hopefully that was nice and clear for you all. That video is also available on our sage.co.uk/help website, but what I am just doing now as we speak is I'm posting a link to the article in the chat. So bear me a second, that should be available for you all to click on or save the link if needs be for future reference, but that is in the chat there now. Okay. Superb. So feel free to click on that, and that's going to take you to the help guides automatically. But to continue with the slides, automatic posting. That's what we've just done, essentially. Automatic posting. We've posted everything automatically just by clicking 2 buttons rather than doing everything manually. We then looked at the video for submitting your VAT return online. Again, I've provided you with a link so you can review that. It's for versions 28 and below and versions 28 and above. There's different ways of doing it, so just make sure that you're using the most up-to-date version and you'll be able to access the help guide and click along. Also, the guide on there is going to be specific for ROI as well. So click on there, download the handout as well, so you've always got a copy as a reference, because that'll need to be submitted manually. So there's separate instruction on that one. So if you download the help guide, download the handout, sorry, or visit that help guide that I've sent you there, it'll guide you through the process on that quite easily. So you can't make any mistakes whatsoever. So finally, just back to the demo, you should see it in front of you now. What you can do if you have submitted this separately for a reason, or however you have done, what you would do is not click the submit online, but you would just mark as submitted. Once that's done, everything here is complete. We would click close, and you saw that change there from pending to submitted. It has been paid. The VAT has been transferred. And then if we ever wanted to revisit that to check it, we would just highlight it, click VAT return, and we can visit it there. We can click print, and you'll get a copy of it that way. So really, that's how simple it is now, the VAT return wizard. And the options are still there to do it manually. It's up to you if you want to do that. But for me, Michael's analogy of why would you stand up and change the channel when you've got the remote in your hand is quite apt. So you're best off using the wizard. It'll guide you through the process. So today, what we covered instantly was always ensure you have a backup. We did that yesterday. I always labour that point because it's easier to return to a save point than it is to unpick anything that may have happened incorrectly. VAT transfer is used to transfer sales and purchase tax values to the VAT liability, which in a perfect world, your VAT liability nominal code will always be 0, but other factors may come into play. For example, CIS, there's going to be a running total. Your sales and purchase tax nominal codes, very rarely are going to be 0 because that would imply that you're not processing. Okay. So if it is 0, then maybe a little bit of investigation as to why. Without doing the transfer, the 3 nominal codes would accumulate large balances, not detrimental to your data, but doesn't affect the balance sheet whatsoever. It's just not very tidy record keeping, if I'm honest. And it can make things a bit more difficult if you're trying to examine certain periods in time. So try and always transfer the balances across. Again, it's a click of a button. If you have built up an accumulative balance, then you can manually post journals for each individual period. Just make sure you're doing it correctly as we've shown you today, and make sure that you're doing backups before you do any of that, because if something does go awry, which it can do, then at least you can return to that saved point. The record payment and record receipt, again, remember I touched on that. If it's a bank payment or a receipt, Sage will recognise if you're receiving money from HMRC or if you're giving money to HMRC, so have no fear there. The MTD submissions are sent digitally direct from the software, as is the way now. But Republic of Ireland submissions do require still that XML file to be downloaded and uploaded to Revenue. So it's separate for the Republic of Ireland. And there's a question came in, John. I have received your question. I'm going to pick up that with you afterwards. That's okay. I'm going to send you an email with regards to that. But remember, any tips or tricks that you've got, we do have a Sage roadmap. If you were to Google or use a search engine for Sage roadmap, it would take you directly to the roadmap where you can leave ideas for the software that hopefully we can get into implementation. The more people that read the roadmap and get involved with the roadmap, the more our developers who make this program will take on board what the consumer is saying and take the ideas into account and build around it. A lot of what we've done with the program has been based on feedback. So we always appreciate it when you get onto the roadmap. So that would just be a simple search for Sage roadmap, put your ideas on there. The more people that like it, the more chance it's got of the developers turning it into something, bring an idea into reality. Seems to be no other questions at all. So what I can do is quickly show you the webinars that are coming up. Hopefully you'll see that on the screen in front of you. So we do have management reports. That's coming soon. So if what you want to do is sign up for that as soon as possible and get your management reports badge for 2025. Sage 50 accounts. That's available via Credible. So sign up to each one of those, attend 4 of the 6 in this instance, and then attend the quiz, and you'll receive your badge at the end of the month. You can use any CV, show your colleagues, etc. It's fantastic. We've already had the analysis fields this morning with Michael on that one, and this is the one that we're currently in now with myself. We've got tips and tricks on Thursday at 11. We've got credit control with Michael again, March 7th of March at 11 a.m. And then an interesting one is budgets and advanced budgets. That's going to be Tuesday 11. It's a popular one, that one. So get signed up for that one if you can. It's very good if you're interested in using budgeting within Sage, getting more out of the software that you currently do. Okay, there seems to be no further questions. So again, John, I'll pick up that one with you afterwards, send you an email. But I want to thank you all for your attendance today. and you will receive a satisfaction survey. If you could complete that for me at the end, that would be brilliant. Just as you leave, let us know any subjects that you want covered in the future, what went well, what didn't go well today. That'd be brilliant, just so we can build on that. We read every single comment that we get through, that as a promise. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. Other than that, I'm going to hand you back 15 minutes of your day, so time for a cup of tea, and maybe sing along to a couple more songs on the radio, but hopefully we'll see you again soon. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.